What is up, Terps fans? Welcome into another Fear the Podcast. I'm Matt Modderno. I'm joined here by Jack Sheehan of IMS. Jack, we got a good one here to talk about. There's an actual recruitment commitment here, so pretty exciting stuff. But first and foremost, as always, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on here. Like you said, it's always good to jump on here and talk some good Terps news. So happy to be
Yeah.
back and excited about the new edition.
Yeah, we'll take it when we can get it. Hopefully a couple more coming here after the busy fall that they've had already. We're doing this on the heels of Junior County coming in for a visit, so hopefully we get some good news there pretty soon. Although he's going to UConn this upcoming weekend, so a little bit of a tough battle. But let's just talk about the win that we've got right in our hands right now. Buzz Williams gets his second commitment of the class of 2026 in Adama Tambedou. We're gonna figure out the pronunciation here. I'm going to try to lock him down for a podcast here, so fingers crossed we can pull that off and he can tell us directly. But he's the number 18 power forward in the class of 2026. Some varying accounts of his actual height, whether he's 6'7 or 6'8. Looks a little closer to 6'7 for me, but seems like he plays big. Crazy athlete from Putnam Science Academy, which is always a loaded group up in Connecticut. Originally from Senegal. I guess, Jack, just first reaction to this, like, what do you think about him as a pickup for Buzz?
Yeah, I think this is a pickup that Maryland fans should be excited about. When you think about the kind of players that Buzz recruits, he kind of fits
Mm-hmm.
that mold of high energy. He's going to play great defense, crazy motor. He'll get he'll be find ways to impact the game on both ends of the court. So I think I'm excited about it, and I think it's a good fit for all parties.
Yeah, I love when that happens because there are definitely times when guys end up at a place and I'm like, that maybe is good for the player from a prestige perspective, but maybe not great fit for the team or vice versa. This one seems sort of like the perfect marriage. I think that's a perfect segue. He announced live on 24/7 earlier today and said about Buzz Williams, he likes to play with dudes who play like me, the dudes who play hard. They're taking the rebound, they're blocking everything, they're running on the floor. And when he told me that, I was like, yeah, I may fit here when I come here. I fit with the program because they got everything that I want. He said, I want to get better, and they want a player who's working hard every time, someone who wants to get better, someone who's playing defense, and that's why I picked that school. Not only does it sound like a great stylistic fit on the court, but this just seems like the culture vibes that Buzz is like trying to establish, and everything we've heard about from who works the hardest or who dove for the most loose balls in their their workout or their commitment camp or whatever they're calling this training camp. Like, I don't know, it just can't seem like a more perfect marriage between coach and player here from my perspective.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. You kind of hit on most of the things I was going to say, but he's he's somebody that's kind of, I don't want to say under the radar
Mm,
because he's still a 4 star, and
sure.
but right on the brink of the top 100. Kind of new to the game of basketball, so I think there's a lot of room for him to kind of grow. So obviously, very excited about that. But yeah, great fit. These are the kind of guys I think Buzz sought out to kind of build his first recruiting class around. So it's a good fit, and we'll see where they go from here.
You've got Pharrell Payne on the roster here already as just sort of a lob threat, shot blocker, dunk everything within 5 feet of the hoop here. Solomon Washington a little smaller, but still a good rebounder, good defender, a little bit more switchable. Adama seems kind of in the middle of those two guys. I think the same question mark exists for all three of them, though. It seems like the shooting is a bit of a we'll see with Adama. Shot around 30% from three over the summer, but on relatively low volume, like 1.5 per game. Is like a mid to high 60s free throw shooter, which is usually a good indicator of future success for people. So I know, Jack, you watched some of the tape here. What do you think? Do we ever see this guy even turn into like a reasonable perimeter threat?
Yeah, I think there's some things to like about the jumper.
Okay.
I actually spoke with his AAU coach,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me there was a game this summer. One of the Maryland assistants, it was Devin Johnson, went to see him
Okay.
play. He buried 6 3-pointers. So
That's
I
pretty
guess
good.
the coaching staff probably love to see that.
Yeah.
So you like to hear stuff like that. I think at this point he's not super polished from deep, but
Mm-hmm.
to your point, knocking down the free throws at a respectable clip for his size. So there's at least some hope there that he can develop that outside jumper. And I guess when you compare him to Payne, I would say he's a much better shooter than him. Washington probably in the same ballpark,
Mhm.
but yeah, if he can add that tool to his game, that'll really make him a better addition.
I think that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about Elijah Saunders is because I think he can do some of that banging, dirty work stuff, but I expect him to be, a pretty close to knockdown shooter from the four
Oh
spot.
yeah,
And if Adama can eventually turn into that after a couple of years of college basketball, I think that just gives you like an additional ceiling. But just that's my one reservation with this Buzz Williams style of play is just at some point if you want to get over the hump and be better than like Sweet 16 as your ceiling, you're going to have some games where you can beat people from the 3 point line. And, if your power forward all of a sudden is 35% even, that just really changes the math for you, I think, a lot.
yeah, big time. And kind of going off of the three point shooting. It's a tongue twister. 3 point shooting theme. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Austin Brown in the fold,
Yeah.
also committed. That's kind of his game. He's a sniper. So there's the pieces are there, coming together at least. So yeah, we'll see how they go from here.
And Brown shooting with size is never a bad thing, too. So I think Buzz is like, all right, we're going to beat you on the boards, but also we're going to make a few more shots here coming over to Maryland. And I think hopefully that's just the evolution of the style of play as you head back to a basketball school and have access to different guys. So that'll be nice. But hey, at the end of the day, if he's just destroying people on the boards, I'll take that too. Looking at next year's roster, there really isn't a whole lot left in the front court that'll be hanging around. Is this a
Mm-mm.
guy you think can come in and play day one and be like an impactful member of the rotation?
Yeah, I think you definitely can. I don't know if I'm ready to pencil him into the starting lineup by any
Sure.
means,
Yep.
but yeah, I think freshman year there's definitely an avenue for him to come in and contribute. I don't really see him being a redshirt candidate.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna kind of covet his athleticism and ability to bang around on the boards and make hustle plays and excite the crowd. So yeah, I think he'll come in right away and play a role, and we'll see kind of how he develops. But I could maybe you never know; they could be one or
Mhm.
two and done. But I see him kind of as a 3 or 4 year developmental, but still playing early. So yeah, we'll see where it goes.
That would be nice for sure. And the other big name forward recruit out there, Baba Lodatoon. These guys seem like they would complement each other pretty well. Like Baba's a little taller, but doesn't do the dirty work the same way, but also provides the floor spacing. So if those are two guys you're putting out there in the front court, I think that's a nice mix and match
No doubt.
opportunity there. Just Jack, last kind of big topic here, and we'll keep this one relatively short. I want to get into just why he picked Maryland. Adama himself said, when I went on the visit with the staff, we were talking about it a lot about basketball on and off the court, how they're going to help me get better on the court and off the court as a person. They're going to help me a lot. And Coach Williams, too, he was giving me some advice about life, what to do to be a great player, and how he's going to help me be a great person, too. And that was the main reason I chose Maryland. This is like the fourth time we've heard from a player that just like Buzz talking to me as a man and how he's gonna just like help me be a better man is like what sealed the deal here. This is like some secret sauce that I did not know Buzz had in his game, but something he's doing on these visits is really convincing people that this is a genuine, earnest person that cares about them, and I just don't think you can fake that with that many different people. Somebody has a BS detector, which I think it says a lot about Buzz, and if it's working now, it lends me to believe it's going to keep working for him longer term here too.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that's kind of become a common theme at this point. And I think the staff as a whole does a good job of identifying guys that kind of fit
Yeah,
their culture, and it takes a certain kind of player to want to sign up and play for Buzz. So
sure.
I think Colby may have mentioned it, but it's almost like when they bring these guys in for officials, it's almost they're there for a tryout as much as Maryland's trying to sell them. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic. It seems to be working well. When you can get kind of two sides that are pulling towards the same goals and have the same kind of mindsets, usually works out. So
that's a great point that you brought up too, and it's nice for Maryland. Like I think all of us as fans of the program view this as a top 20 program in college basketball, and don't see this as a program that should have to like beg, the 128th recruit in the class to come here. So I do like that they're taking the approach of like, hey, we're not just taking you because you have 4 stars and we need that to check a box. Like you better fit with us equally the same way, and them being selective of we don't have to take you. We can hit the portal if we have to, and allowing them to be selective on the right guys. I think that's huge. Like we saw this even with Gary's team after the national championship. Like maybe not all of those guys were the right Gary kind of guy, but he took them because they were high recruits. Like I don't worry about that with Buzz because he's got options and they just seem to be able to vet them really well here too. Just on Adama, the last other thing here I thought was kind of interesting. We heard about the Texas State visit that got canceled, which is always a good sign after coming here. There's some Oklahoma State chatter out there. I never remembered hearing anything about Iowa State, and then it posted up today of his final two are now Maryland and Iowa State. I don't know if he even ultimately took a visit there, so maybe that was just him trying to have some suspense going into the announcement. I don't know, but do you know if like Iowa State made like a late press here? Because he does seem like an Iowa State kind of player too, and that's a good team to beat out.
Yeah, so actually, ironically enough, I started with 24/7 Inside Maryland Sports. I think it was back in July,
Mm-hmm.
and I mentioned this on the site. Adama was actually the first recruit I ever
Yeah,
interviewed,
which is
which
cool.
kind of a cool story.
Yeah.
Um, but when I talked to him back then, he did mention Iowa State.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think it was Maryland, Iowa State, Oklahoma State. I think Creighton may have been sniffing around.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there were no talks of visits. I never heard anything else that was very substantial when it came to Iowa State.
Okay.
So I know they were recruiting him, but no, I don't think he ever visited. Maybe they made a little push there at the end to try to get him to come out, but no, he kind of seemed like he was Maryland's to lose from the jump. So
That's been a top 25 program in the last couple years under TJ Osselberger. So beating them in any kind of recruitment, whether they pushed all that hard or not, or whatever the case may be, he did seem to fit with the way they want to play defense. And I don't know if they buy into a guy's impact. I think that gives me even more confidence he can come here and play.
for
The
sure,
other
yeah,
piece
you
of
always like to
this,
see that.
yeah, for sure. He mentioned the facilities and access to facilities and the ability to come in and just get better whenever he wanted. So, we got some fan questions about like, will this practice court actually have an impact? And seems like we're seeing dividends here already.
Yeah, so this facility is kind of an interesting phenomenon, especially in the NIL world. I know there's a camp of people who are like, "Oh, we should have done this 5 years ago. We could have used this money for NIL." But
Yep.
the reality is Maryland really needed that
Mm-hmm.
facility. I think they were the only team in the Big Ten that didn't have a
Yep.
basketball specific one. And yeah, from all the pictures I've seen, I haven't had a chance to check it out in person yet, but looks state of the art. Sounds like everyone that's seen it is blown away by it. So for Buzz to have that kind of as a little feather in his cap when he's recruiting, definitely can't hurt.
Yep.
So yeah, so far so good with that, and we'll see what kind of how the impact of it can be.
Yeah, well, I can't hurt at the very least. So any extra thing, if that's ways one recruit, a year or something like that gets him over the top, it's worth it. The last thing from Adama, when his asked his message to the fans, he said, "All I have to say is I'm coming for y'all. I'm bringing some wins, and I'm gonna get that ring with y'all." So I already love it. Seems like he'll fit right in here. Anything else, Jack, here that you think we should know about this recruitment, or you want to mention before we wrap this one up?
No, I mean I kind of alluded to it earlier, but he's kind of a guy that's on a major upward trajectory, which
Mm-hmm.
is always something you like to see.
Yep.
I think I kind of had a similar feel, if you remember back in the day, to Wenyan Gabriel. He seemed
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a freakish athlete under the radar.
Yep.
Maryland kind of got on him, and then boom, all of a sudden, here comes Kentucky, and we know how that goes. So I was kind of a little, not that I was nervous about it, but I
Sure.
was kind of in the back of my head, like I could see some of the traditional blue
Who gets in
buds
here
getting
late?
involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice to get him locked up, and yeah, I think he'll be an exciting player to watch. Looking forward to getting him on campus.
think it's just fun to see a couple high flyers on the roster here too, and I think he's going to put a few guys on a poster during his time here in College Park. So I love it.
Totally agree.
Jack, where can people find more of your work here?
Yeah, so head on over to Inside Maryland Sports. I'm doing a lot of basketball and football coverage on there. You'll see me commenting in the boards. I started some threads to kind of keep people in tune with what's going on with recruitments, whether it's football or basketball. So happy to engage with you guys on the site and answer any questions or all that good stuff. So
Awesome. Well, the next big recruiting visit here, let's wait to see how Junior County shakes out. But Ant Brown coming the first week in October will be kind of the next big domino to fall here. Maybe we hear something about Caden House before then as well. So, Jack, let's circle back in maybe like 2 weeks here, and hopefully we've got a few more exciting things to talk about for everybody.
yep, this is a busy time of year. So hopefully I'll be seeing you on here more, Matt.
I love it. All right, and the football team is good too. I'm going to be back to being a football fan here. I think Larry has convinced me, so hopefully I can catch up with him at a tailgate later in the season. But
There we go.
Jack, thanks as always. Keep up the great work, and looking forward to hearing more about our new favorite Maryland Terrapin, Adama Tambedou.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Matt, for having me on here, and look forward to coming back on whenever we get some more good news.
All right, you heard it there, folks. Hopefully, plenty of these to talk about. A couple more recruits in the pipeline. Maybe Baba just decides to hurry things up a little bit. We'll see what that looks like. Did hear a wrinkle from somebody that he's maybe holding out for Duke to make a last-minute push. That would be very hard for
Hmm.
Maryland to lose out to Sebastian or Duke to Sebastian Wilkins, and then a local guy like Baba too. So we'll see. Hopefully that's not true, but Duke always carries some weight. Until next time, hopefully we'll have some more on that kind of stuff for you as we go. Hit that like button for us, rate, review, subscribe. All those good things really help the show. So again, if you're watching this, the like button is right here for the folks on YouTube. And remember, if you're the podcast.